At 2 a.m., the world becomes quiet. And somehow, that's usually when the mind becomes the loudest. During the day, you can seem completely fine. Busy, productive, distracted, work, messages, deadlines, noise, endless conversations. But then night comes. Everything slows down. Everything gets quieter. And suddenly, your thoughts get louder. The embarrassing thing you said 3 years ago. A mistake you wish you could undo. A person who left. A future you're afraid of. And somehow, at night, every fear feels more convincing. Small worries become life-sized problems. You lie in bed staring at the ceiling, while your mind keeps replaying conversations, imagining worst-case scenarios, and asking questions that never seem to end. What if I made the wrong decision? What if things never get better? What if I never become the person I want to be? And the strange part is, during the day, those thoughts didn't seem nearly this powerful. In this episode, we're going to talk about why people overthink the most at night, what is actually happening inside your mind during those moments, and how to stop getting trapped in endless mental loops. A lot of people think overthinking happens because they think too much. But in psychology, the real problem is often not thinking itself. It's the inability to tolerate uncertainty. Human beings are deeply uncomfortable with not knowing. We want certainty that we are loved, our future will be okay, we made the right decision, nothing bad is about to happen. But life rarely gives us that certainty. And so the brain starts doing what it thinks is helping you. It analyzes, repeats, predicts, imagines, prepares for worst-case scenarios. In modern psychology, this is connected to something called rumination, repetitive negative thinking loops. Psychologist Susan Nolan-Hoeksema, one of the most influential researchers on rumination, explained that people often replay the same negative thoughts over and over without actually solving anything. You don't really find answers. You just circle around the same fear repeatedly. It's like running on a treadmill. Exhausting, but going nowhere. And nighttime is the perfect environment for that to happen. Because when the world becomes quiet, there's nothing left to distract you from yourself. No work, no noise, no constant stimulation. Just you and the voice inside your head. Carl Jung once wrote, "Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life, and you will call it fate." A lot of the thoughts that appear at night are not actually new. They are emotions you avoided during the day. A sadness you never fully faced. A fear you kept suppressing. A loneliness you distracted yourself from by staying busy. During the day, people often run from themselves through constant activity. At night, there's nowhere left to run. And that's when the mind starts speaking louder. But there's another reason overthinking becomes stronger at night. Your brain is tired. Neuroscience research shows that when mental energy is depleted, the prefrontal cortex, the part of the brain responsible for rational thinking and emotional regulation, becomes less effective. Which means, at night, your brain is more likely to catastrophize. A small problem suddenly feels enormous. An unanswered text becomes, "They probably hate me." A mistake becomes, "I always ruin everything." Silence becomes, "My life is falling apart." And then the brain tries to fix the anxiety, by thinking even more. But here's the paradox. The more you think in order to escape anxiety, the deeper you fall into it. In Stoic philosophy, there is a powerful idea. Not every thought that appears in your mind deserves to be believed. Marcus Aurelius wrote in Meditations, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." What's interesting is that Stoicism does not teach people to control every thought. It teaches people not to identify themselves with every thought. Because there's a huge difference between, "I'm having a fearful thought," and "this fearful thought must be true." But many people never realize that difference. They believe every thought their mind produces, and that's when overthinking starts consuming them. One negative thought creates a story. The story creates anxiety. The anxiety creates even more thoughts. And suddenly, it's 2 a.m., and you're exhausted from fighting battles that never even happened. The sad part is, many people think overthinking means they care deeply. But overthinking rarely prepares you for life. It usually just makes you suffer multiple times before anything has actually happened. Mark Twain once said, "I've had a lot of worries in my life, most of which never happened." Maybe that's exactly what overthinking does to us. It traps us inside imagined tragedies. So what's the way out? Many people think the answer is, just stop thinking. But that almost never works. The harder you try to force thoughts away, the stronger they return. Instead, the real solution is learning to change your relationship with your thoughts. In CBT, cognitive behavioral therapy, there's an important principle. A thought is not automatically a fact. Just because your brain says something doesn't mean it's true. Sometimes your brain is simply trying to protect you from danger. The problem is, the human brain often cannot clearly distinguish between real danger and imagined danger. That's why a simple unanswered email can create the same stress response as an actual threat. One of the healthiest things you can learn is this. Do not try to solve your entire life at 2 a.m. Not every nighttime thought needs an immediate answer. Sometimes thoughts simply need to be observed and allowed to pass. Sometimes what you need is not another hour of thinking. You need sleep, rest, silence, a slower breath, a break from the war happening inside your head. The philosopher Alain de Botton once wrote, "Much of what we call thinking is actually feeling." And maybe that's true. Maybe some nights, you don't really need more answers. Maybe you're just tired, lonely, afraid, or emotionally overwhelmed. And maybe maturity is not the moment you stop overthinking forever. Maybe maturity is when you finally realize, not every thought that appears at night deserves your trust. Sometimes, your mind is only trying to protect you in its own imperfect way. Thank you for listening. If this video resonated with you, leave a comment. What do you overthink about the most at night? And if you find content like this helpful, don't forget to like and subscribe to join me in the next episode, where we explore emotions, psychology, philosophy, and how to live more peacefully in a world that never stops making noise.